Every day, we're bombarded with ads. Whether it's on your phone, TV, or even on the side of a bus, they're everywhere. But did you know that the average person is exposed to around 4,000 to 10,000 ads each day? That's a lot of messages telling us what to buy, how to look, and what we need to be happy. And here's a shocking fact: studies show that over 80% of these ads don't even directly influence our purchasing decisions. So why do we still keep buying into them? It turns out, advertising works on a deeper level. It plays on our emotions, our insecurities, and our desires in ways we don't even realize. We might think we're making choices based on logic, but the truth is, most of our decisions are guided by clever psychological tricks. In this video, we'll dive into the hidden psychology behind advertising. We'll show you how brands use tricks to manipulate our desires and how you can fight back by making smarter, more sustainable choices. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll not only understand why you buy what you do, but also how to start buying less, choosing better, and living a life that aligns with your values. Ready to see through the ad game? Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Hidden Power of Persuasion. Behind the ad curtain, you've seen them. The flashy ads that make you feel like you just have to buy something. Whether it's the latest phone or a new pair of shoes, advertisers are always working to make you believe that life won't be complete without their product. What's fascinating is that these brands are using a mix of psychology and design to trigger specific emotions. They know how to push the buttons that get you to act. According to consumer psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini, one of the key principles brands use is reciprocity. When a company gives you something, like a free sample or a discount, you feel obligated to return the favor by making a purchase. Ads often make us feel like we're part of something bigger. This is called social proof. If a product is shown being used by a celebrity or a large group of people, we assume it's the right choice because everyone is doing it. But the truth is, brands have spent billions understanding how our brains work. They know that appealing to emotions is much more powerful than appealing to logic. For example, a study showed that emotional ads are twice as likely to result in a purchase compared to those focused on logic. That's why many ads focus on creating feelings, like happiness or fear of missing out. In addition to emotions, scarcity is another common tactic. Brands make limited time offers or tell us that stock is running low. This taps into our fear of losing an opportunity, a feeling psychologists call loss aversion. Research shows that people are more motivated by the fear of losing something than by the desire to gain something. This is why last chance deals can feel so irresistible. But here's the kicker: while ads can drive us to buy more, this doesn't always make us happier. In fact, studies have found that material purchases don't lead to long-term happiness. Instead, investing in experiences, like travel or time with loved ones, brings greater satisfaction. So, how do we fight back against these psychological tactics? The first step is understanding how they work and recognizing when they are being used. Chapter 2: Manipulating Wants. How ads create false needs. Have you ever bought something you didn't need, only to regret it later? Chances are, advertisers played a role in creating a false need. One of the most effective ways they do this is through emotional manipulation. Consider the classic new car ad: a shiny, sleek vehicle, a family smiling, and an open road. The ad doesn't just sell a car, it sells freedom, adventure, and success. But do you really need that car? Or are you just buying into the idea that it will improve your life? Research shows that ads often create needs that weren't there before. In fact, a study from the University of California found that exposure to advertising can actually alter our perceptions of what we need versus what we want. This is why we often feel unsatisfied with our current possessions. They no longer seem good enough after we've seen what's on TV, social media, or a billboard. But advertisers don't just target desires, they also leverage our insecurities. Studies suggest that many ads tap into our need for validation. Think about it: how many beauty products promise to make us beautiful or flawless? By positioning their product as the answer to our perceived flaws, they convince us we needed to fit in or feel accepted. This can create a cycle of never-ending consumption, as we're constantly trying to fix ourselves through products. There's also the concept of status. Brands know how to make us believe that buying their product will elevate our social standing. Just think of the luxury brands that advertise an image of wealth and success. When we buy their product, we're not just purchasing an item, we're buying a slice of that status. And this idea is so powerful that even researchers agree that social comparison is a major driver of consumer behavior. So, how do we break free from these false needs? It starts with mindfulness. When you feel the urge to buy, take a step back. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Will it truly enhance my life, or am I just trying to fulfill a desire I didn't even know I had? The key is to question whether the purchase is a genuine need or simply an emotional response designed by a brand. Chapter 3: Eco-friendly ads, the greenwashing trap and how to spot it in today's world. Sustainability is all the rage. Brands are quick to slap on a green label to show that they care about the environment. But how do we know if they're really walking the talk, or just using eco-friendly terms to make a quick sale? This is where greenwashing comes in. Greenwashing is when a company claims to be environmentally friendly but doesn't actually make substantial efforts to reduce their environmental impact. For example, a brand might advertise that their product is made from recycled materials, but fail to mention that the production process still creates a significant amount of waste. A 2019 study by the European Commission found that 40% of environmental claims made by brands were misleading or unsubstantiated. This is a growing problem because, as consumers, we want to make better choices, but we're being misled by companies who know how to manipulate our good intentions. One common tactic in greenwashing is vague wording. If an ad simply says, eco-friendly, or sustainable, it doesn't tell you anything specific about the product's actual environmental impact. It's up to you to ask questions like, what materials are used? Is the product recyclable? How is it made? But that can be hard when the ad is designed to make you feel good about your purchase without diving into the details. Another technique is the use of images that evoke nature. Think of a bottle with leaves or a clean ocean background. These images are meant to trick you into believing the product is environmentally friendly, even when it might not be. In fact, research from Harvard Business Review found that consumers who saw an eco-friendly image were more likely to overlook the negative environmental impact of a product. To avoid falling for greenwashing, there are a few simple steps you can take. Look for third-party certifications like Fair Trade, USDA Organic, or Energy Star. These labels mean that the product has been independently verified. It's also important to be skeptical of broad, unsubstantiated claims and dig deeper into the company's actual environmental practices. Understanding these tactics and being mindful of the products you choose is the first step towards sustainable living. After all, while the ads may try to pull us in with promises of a greener world, we hold the power to make real, informed choices. As the famous environmentalist David Attenborough said, the truth is, the world is changing. And it's up to us to adapt, not just as individuals, but as a society. If you're learning something new and want to explore more of these topics, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insights on sustainable living and the psychology behind advertising. Chapter 4: The Power of Consumerism. Breaking free from the buy mentality. We live in a world where more is always better. Ads bombard us with promises of happiness through material goods. But here's the truth, buying stuff doesn't necessarily bring joy. In fact, research from the University of Michigan found that people who prioritize experiences, like traveling or spending time with loved ones, report being happier than those focused on buying material possessions. Yet, advertisers push the message that you need more to feel fulfilled. The pressure to consume is everywhere. From TV commercials to social media influencers, the message is clear: you're incomplete without the latest gadget, clothing, or trend. And it's not just about necessity, it's about status. A 2017 study by the American Psychological Association found that people who focus on materialistic values tend to experience higher levels of anxiety and depression. The more we consume, the more we are sold on the idea that happiness is just one more purchase away. Breaking free from this cycle of consumerism requires a shift in mindset. Instead of looking for fulfillment through products, consider seeking it through experiences and connections. Try focusing on personal growth, like learning a new skill or improving your health and well-being. The more we consume mindlessly, the more we fuel the very system that keeps pushing us to buy things we don't need. One effective strategy is to embrace the minimalist mindset. Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about intentionality. Ask yourself, do I truly need this item? If not, avoid the temptation to buy it. This doesn't mean avoiding purchases altogether, but rather being mindful of what you buy and why. A study from the University of California found that people who focus on simplifying their lives experience less stress and greater satisfaction. Additionally, start considering the long-term effects of your purchases. Opt for items that will last, are more sustainable, or support ethical businesses. It's not just about buying less, it's about making purchases that align with your values, like choosing eco-friendly products. The more we invest in quality and purpose, the less we need to rely on the constant stream of advertisements that tell us we need more. Chapter 5: The Psychology of Choice. How brands narrow our decision-making. Ever notice how shopping seems so easy when there are just a few options, but when the choices pile up, it feels overwhelming? This is called choice overload, and brands are experts at using it to their advantage. They narrow down our options to make the decision process easier for us, but in doing so, they often push us toward their own agenda. One example is how product lines are structured. Have you ever walked into a store and been faced with a wall of options, only to buy the most popular or highly advertised one? The choice isn't really yours, it's the brand's way of guiding you toward a purchase. According to a study by the Journal of Marketing Research, too many choices can actually lead to decision paralysis, where we end up not buying anything at all. However, when brands limit choices, they create a sense of ease and satisfaction. Brands use a psychological strategy known as anchoring to influence our decisions. For example, when you see a high-priced item next to a more affordable one, you're more likely to choose the less expensive one, even if it's still more than you initially planned to spend. This trick works because your brain uses the first number you see, the anchor, to evaluate the rest. Studies show that anchoring can increase sales by up to 30%. Another common technique is framing. The way a choice is presented can significantly affect the decision. For instance, a product described as 80% fat-free sounds healthier than one described as 20% fat, even though they are essentially the same. Brands often use framing to make their products appear more attractive, nudging you toward making a purchase without fully considering your options. To avoid falling into these traps, it's important to slow down and give yourself time to evaluate your choices. Instead of letting a brand frame your decision, take a moment to reflect on whether the product truly adds value to your life. The key is to make decisions consciously, not impulsively. And when it comes to sustainability, making choices that reflect your long-term values can help you break free from the cycle of endless consumption. Chapter 6: Redesigning Desire. Creating a mindset for sustainable living. As we've seen, advertising is designed to manipulate desires and encourage unnecessary consumption. But how can we flip this on its head and redesign our desires for sustainable living? It starts with a fundamental shift in how we view consumption and happiness. First, challenge the idea that more equals better. That more mentality is deeply embedded in our society, but it's not sustainable. According to a 2019 report by the Global Footprint Network, humanity's ecological footprint has already surpassed the Earth's capacity to regenerate resources. To live sustainably, we need to rethink how we consume, focusing on quality over quantity and reducing our environmental impact. A powerful strategy is the idea of delayed gratification. Advertisements make us crave instant satisfaction, but sustainable living encourages waiting and thinking long-term. Rather than buying something on impulse, take a moment to reflect on whether it aligns with your values and long-term goals. This mindset shift can help you break the cycle of constant desire and focus on what truly matters. Another key to sustainable living is mindfulness. When you make a purchase, do it with intention. Ask yourself, is this something I really need? Will it enhance my life in a meaningful way? This kind of mindful consumption reduces waste and fosters a deeper appreciation for what you already have. When we focus on experiences rather than material goods, we also support sustainability. Experiences, whether they're spending time outdoors, taking up a hobby, or traveling, are often more fulfilling and less resource-intensive than buying new products. Research shows that people who invest in experiences are more likely to feel satisfied with their lives and less likely to be driven by materialistic values. The key to redesigning desire for sustainable living is to think beyond consumerism. As author and environmental activist Rachel Carson once said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't need." Start focusing on things that truly matter, your health, relationships, and the planet, and you'll find that the constant urge to consume begins to fade. When you begin to value sustainability over immediate gratification, you are truly making a difference, not only for yourself but for the world around you. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on how you can live a more sustainable and mindful life.